Michelle and Payush, welcome to round 2 of the Holiday Co-op Shipper Assembly video. So in this video, there's some things that are common from the previous Nutcracker video. But the difference on the new one is we've added lugs at the top here and lugs at the bottom, and we've made some structural changes to the top header. So without further ado, let's get started with the new round 2 video. Okay, we are going to assemble the main body. And the main body is one piece. It's the triangular piece that looks like this. So we just want to make sure, remember all pieces before we assemble them, we want to break the score lines to make it much easier to put together. So that's the first thing we're going to do with the main body piece, which is the biggest piece of the whole display. So here we want to make sure that this is the bottom. All the bottom is scores are broken. Placed flat like this. We want to make sure our little tabs are bent in. And the key thing here is at the top, we want to make sure that all these flaps are folded in nice and easy. And then the last adjoining space, just run your hand down here to break the scores to make it really easy. You can see we've got our main scores here that breaks this triangle up. So the next step is to pull these two pieces together. Just line up your tab inserts. And you'll hear them click into place. Now what we want to do is we're gonna bring this upright so that we can assemble the top portion. The top portion is a pretty universal move. You want to make sure all your flaps turned in. And what we're going to do here is just align your tabs up to the slits and just work your way around. So if you work on one corner with our little hole pieces, pull that, locks that into place, locks that into place, and locks that into place. So we've got a really connected top piece. Flip this upside down to the bottom, and this is the bottom feet that's going to be used for the next piece, which is the bottom tray. So that's kind of the, for the main body, we're going to move on to the tray. Okay, so the next stage is the bottom tray, which is going to go on the bottom of the main body. So the key thing again here is to make sure you break all the scores prior to assembly. So we want to fold everything in to make sure that it's easy to maneuver. We got to make sure we've got these little quarter scores here on each flap. Those get folded in. And then once we have all the scores, the best way to deal with this is to slowly work your way around, tucking in these flaps at the same time, because that'll automatically lock in the bottom tray. So if you lock in one side over here, and worked over, locked in that second side, and lock in the third side. So it's just really kind of work around, make sure all the scores are firm. You've got yourself the assembled bottom tray, and then that just gets put on top of the bottom of the main base. Give it a couple whacks, it's on there. And now if you turn around the main body, you've got a completed main body. Okay, our next step is the top header. So nothing's changed on the top header from the previous. What we did is we looked at how the main body is put together, and the top header uses the same assembly technique, which is always good for uniformity and ease of assembly with the person putting the display together. So the key again is to make sure all the scores are in place and flat as you can get them. And the first step would be to assemble, put the tab in place, make sure that that locks in, and then turn this on its side, make sure all your flaps are in place. Just line up your tabs and slowly work around using the thumb holes. Pop everything into place. And you'll hear that click. And once that side is done, you can flip it on its other side. Again, same technique. Get that back into place. Line up your tabs. And slowly assemble the tabs. So now we have a header for the main body, which we're going to do. The next step will be a piece that goes on to the main header, which then will attach to the main body. Okay, the next step is we're going to continue with the header piece, and there's going to be 3 corrugated pieces that are all consistent, same piece, same looking piece. You'll notice that the inserts, there's some small on the top and large on the bottom, and this is to make sure that this gets aligned correctly on the main header piece. So again, if we take the main header piece, we've got all these slits in the top, no slits in the bottom. So we're working with the section that has the slits, and all we're going to do here is take each piece, break the scores, the tabs will line up to fit in these slits. You can use our little thumb holes to help insert. So break the score, insert into slits, push down, the last piece, put into the slits, push down, and you'll notice now we've got a formation of a triangle that eventually is going to go onto the top of the main body. But before we do that, we're going to have some lightweight cover stock that we're going to insert into the slits that are on the top here. So this is a little bit different design. We thought it would be easier for the user to work pushing down through the slots, the slits here, lining up the curve, to pop out the effect, and just pushing down. So as we line up each individual piece, we got to again break our scores. Line up the piece, go down through the slits. We bow this out a little bit, line up, insert, and push down. Same process all the way around. Line up the slits. And so now we've got a completed top header that, when flipped over, will insert into the top of the main body, which has slits on it. Okay, the next step, we've got our completed top header section. We're going to insert it into all these 6 slits. And the best way to do that is just line up these tabs into the slits. And then we can gently pull down, push down. There's a little hole here at the top too if we need to pull up a little bit. And that helps lock everything into place. So now what we have is a completed main body section. And now what we're going to do is move on to the lugs. Okay, so now we're going to do the lug-ons. We've added lug-ons in the bottom. They're ballerina, keeping with the theme of the Nutcracker. We have 3 different versions, different images, and then one image of the same lug that's going to go on the top that's universal. So if we just start with the first lug, and each lug has a unique tab position, so there's no way the user can get confused on where they go. So they only fit in one particular spot, and so if there's no way they can put the wrong lug on the wrong spot. Not that it really matters much, but we thought it was kind of a cute idea to add a lug definition and keep with the theme, and then added the additional messaging and some additional graphics to the top, which again accentuates the whole theme of the Nutcracker. You can see they just easily pop into place. And so now what we have are the main lugs on each panel of the main body. Okay, the last step is to actually put the Nutcrackers on. So the Nutcrackers, 3 different Nutcrackers, but they're different images. On the back we've got 2-sided tape to add with, to make sure that these get assembled and stay on. And if you can see, we've got a slit in the very front panel here, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to keep this top header the way it was structurally, is because we just felt like everything went into place perfectly. And again, just insert into the slit, push back to initiate the 2-sided tape. So push down, line up, and the last panel, push down, line up, and apply. So now we have a completed 3-sided Nutcracker display, second version. So talk a little bit about what's different between the first version and the second. You can see basically from the top up, it's the same graphics, but through the rendering you can see we've added this really eye-catching top lug and then we've added a lug to the bottom that's a ballerina. We wanted to maybe make the ballerina larger, but because our count is 50 cards, we have to have one panel that has cards down here, which we didn't want to have something too big that would interfere with the cards dangling down from the hooks. So that's it, and please let me know if you have any questions or concerns about the assembly. And of course, this would be followed up with a in-color assembly sheet, very detailed like we've done in the last few years for both the Co-op Holiday and the Co-op Celebrate Chipper. Thanks for your time.